Yo, what is up, my friends? Welcome to another stream. It is so good to be with you. I am sorry I'm a bit late tonight. Had some stuff at the house, had to take care of it. No way around it. That's just how it is some nights. But I am here. I am excited to be with you guys because last week we did the whole 2025 tier list discussion. This week I want to talk about some trailers, some new stuff that you guys put on the official Reddit. Of course, I got to start every stream by just saying, hey, Legacy Gaming has its own subreddit, and we need your help. Join the subreddit, post some content, new trailers. The whole idea here is that I am just not that online. I wish I was more online some days. I wish I was less online other days. But quite honestly, I just miss a lot of things that get posted. I catch the big stuff, right? Like whenever an Xbox or a Sony is doing something cool. But a lot of the little things, new games, indie games, just hot takes from around the internet, I miss them. It's just who I am at this point. I wish I had a little bit more line of sight into that stuff, which is why we set up the subreddit, right? It's the whole point of all this. So you can definitely join us on the subreddit, post some content. I would really appreciate that. It would be super awesome. I know we've got a lot to talk to tonight. There's at least 5 or 6 good trailers on here, as well as some other stuff that I'm actually really excited to see. I also love that Difficult Spare, who's been posting for us since day one, posted our video. I thought that was pretty funny. Like, oh, okay, I'll react to my own video. That would be so absurdly terrible. We're not actually going to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here, and I'm just gonna drag some screens around, get us all organized here. I should have done this earlier, but like I said, usually I have usually I have more time. Yeah, it would be Legacy Game Exception. I don't honestly think anybody would enjoy that. I wouldn't even enjoy that. Let me react to the words that I wrote in this script way back when. I think it would be pretty terrible. But there's some cool stuff on here. So if I scroll all the way back to 8 days ago, oh, I gotta sort by new here. There we go. And boop, I'm gonna just copy that. Livid's been posting some stuff with him, some thoughts, and then I'm gonna go all the way back here. Livid posted this thing about The Witcher 4 21 days ago that I never talked about. I might skip that one just because I'm not as big of a Witcher nerd as he is, especially when it comes to lore. This one was popping up before. I don't know why it's not anymore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is not meant to be like some crazy high-tech thing. It's just meant for us to dive into some cool trailers, to talk about some cool game stuff. Obviously talk about our plans for the channel. And I'll just tell you guys, like, this is just straight up like the month of January. The month of January is like one of the worst months as content creators. And it happens, and it has happened to me specifically every year since I started doing this. Like, you get all excited because you finally get a little bit of time back, right? Like, you're not working, you get some PTO or some vacation during the end of the year, and then all of a sudden January comes around and there are like no games coming out. There's nothing to talk about, nothing to do, etc. This year's a little different, right? Like, Marvel Rivals has been a ton of fun. I just finally got my feet wet into Path of Exile. Neither game were like going super hard at in terms of content creation, right? Like, obviously we've made a lot of Marvel Rival videos, but not nearly as much as we would have if we were going full tilt into it. Path of Exile, obviously we didn't touch it all other than it being in like the monthly gaming video. So then we sit around in January and like try and figure out what our plan is. And like, I'll be really like straight with you guys. Like, my part of what I do during January is I really start planning and reaching out to developers and publishers and figuring out, okay, what games are we going to cover here on the channel? Can we get early access to them? Can we start working with the developers on content, etc.? We've got a really cool opportunity for Hyper Light Breaker, which is a new game by the developers Heart Machine. And we got a special preview of that game coming out hopefully this week ahead of its early access launch. Fun little indie game. I don't know if you'd call it an indie game, a AA game. I don't actually know what Heart Machine is, but it's supported by Arc Games, the same publishers behind Remnant 2. So like, it's definitely a bigger game. January's just rough. It's just rough. It's freaking cold. There's a ton of snow where I live most years, and there's not a lot of games to cover. And then February comes around, and then it's like chaos. And that chaos usually leads into all the way into the summer, and then the summer rolls around, and then you have like that second big wave of games that are coming out. You've got Summer Game Fest. Like, it's going to be a busy year. It's just going to take a second for the year to actually like kick off. So I'm excited about it. It's just going to take a minute. Anyways, the first game, and it's really There it is. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about tonight is this trailer, Exodus. I have no idea what this game is. And actually, I'm more excited about a game that I've never heard of because I just genuinely, like, we've never really talked about a game that I have no exposure to. Maybe once or twice we've talked about a game on the stream where I'm like, I have no idea what this is. I am excited about it, I guess. But, like, when you don't know what it is, you don't know if it's going to be good. You don't know if it's going to be bad. Most of the things that we've talked about on the stream, I've had some exposure to. So, like, I kind of had a slight frame of mind. This one, I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know if this is going to be good, bad, what genre it's going to be. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we're going to pull this trailer up. Exodus gameplay trailer, The Traveler's Creed. So let's check it out here. I'm going to do all the things that Josh taught me so that this is not a disaster. And here we go. We got 2 minutes.
Preparing to transfer now. This is your last chance to bail, June.
Do it.
It's in space. Okay. All right. Zip lines in space. Okay.
Loaded weapon is a hell of a way to greet your new partner.
So you're June.
We're burning time. Now that we're all best of friends, let's make each other rich.
I'm not just here to look pretty. I've got away with celestial tech.
Oh. Okay. That's a fun twist. Space Bear? That's like the scene
See a lot
from
of potential in this
Star
new
Wars.
partnership.
Let me light the way for you.
Target acquired.
Many thanks again for your help.
You should have been honest.
This place is forbidden. The price is death.
That seems
That's
a
what it
little
means to be
dramatic.
a traveler.
Surprisingly, rather intrigued. Become the Traveler. Archetype Entertainment. I think I saw Wizards of the Coast. I'm intrigued. Doesn't look bad at all. Absolutely not. It looks like there's an extended story trailer. That's what I was trying to figure out as I was watching this. Is like, you're seeing a lot of narrative-driven elements, right? Like, that's exciting for folks that are into the RPG space. But then you look at the gameplay, and it almost feels more like an Outriders type of experience. Or you could even go so far as to say it's like that PlayStation. It was a PlayStation exclusive. It was a roguelite space game. Liv, help me out with this one. What the heck was it called? Nope, not Uncharted. Yeah, a little bit of Uncharted in space. I'll give you that one. But what was that? It was a female protagonist. It was like a bullet hell roguelite in space. Oh my goodness. What the heck was that game called? It was a really popular one for a hot minute, but it gives me those vibes too, and it's really those combat sequences that give me the vibe. But then, yeah, when you get to this part here where he's talking about Returnal. Let's be frank, thank you. That's the one I was talking about. There's some Returnal vibes, Outrider vibes, Uncharted in space vibes. But then you get to the combat elements and you're like, oh, okay, this has actually got some legs to it, right? It's not just like, you can tell when you look at a game if it's got, good bones in terms of its combat and its animations. There's this stealth sequence here. There was the boss fight with the bear. And then there's this narrative underlying to it. So really fascinated about this one. Thanks for sharing it because I've never heard of this game. It's definitely now on the map. This is a co-op game, which it seems like it is. And again, I'm not digging into this any deeper than the trailer itself, right? And they're not revealing a whole ton in this trailer. Just kind of starting to get people hyped about it. So Exodus, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I don't care if they're ripping off Destiny 2 weapons. What do I care? I don't care about that. Yeah, Archetype Entertainment. I don't know that group at all. But yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let me get myself reorganized here. Exodus. You know what's funny? The game name Exodus, you'd think that would be used more. Like, has that been used for other games before? Because, like, that seems like it would be, like, that's a great title for a game, right? Like, I always complain about games that use, like, way too many words in their titles. I'm trying to think of, like, what's a really great example of a game that uses way too many words? Because Metro Exodus, that's a good one. But, like, just the word Exodus, like, that's a great name for a game, and it could be anything, right? It could be a space game, it could be a medieval game, it could be anything, a city builder even, you know? It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I have a grievance against games that are like, they're trying to be too much just with their title. And I'm trying to think of a really great example of a game that does this. Shout it out in the chat. Like, what's a game with an absurdly long title that's just like, why? Why bother? And it's always the ones, too, that are like title and then subtitle. That's like 10 more words. The Fractured But Whole, is that actually the name of a game, Charles? Because that's a ridiculous name for a game. That's like, yeah, that's crazy. Come on, we got collectively here with the 20 plus. Yes, there you go. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Honestly, like, the Final Fantasies are notorious for this, right? You know, actually, I've got a good one. The Donkey Kong game that's on the January or the February monthly games list. Donkey Kong Country HD Return, or whatever the heck it is. It's like, guys, like, we get it. It's Donkey Kong. Come up with a new name for it. Or just slap the word remastered at the end of it. Yeah, too many crazy things like that. Anyways. Okay, Black Desert. Now, we don't cover Black Desert here on the channel. I am not a Black Desert guy. I don't know anything about the MMO. Somebody posted the Deadeye trailer on here. I just thought it'd be fun to take a look at. You know, feel free to chime in if you are a Black Desert aficionado. But remember, Pearl Abyss is working on Crimson Desert, right? So you have to understand that developers that are making new games are going to lean on their old games for guidance, right? That's just the way these things work. So there's absolutely going to be elements of Black Desert in Crimson Desert. There's no way that's not going to happen, right? So just keep that in mind as we watch this trailer about the official Deadeye combat trailer, which I assume Deadeye is a new class in the MMO. Oh, Fervor, you had a good one, man. Naruto Shippund? How do you say that? Shippunden? I don't know. Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. As Livid says, gives you a look into potential Crimson Desert gameplay style. Absolutely. So here it is, the Black Desert official Deadeye combat trailer. Helps if I play it. Besides the VO being terrible. Also, what is this music?
Time to meet your maker. Eat leg.
I have never once played this MMO. For a number of reasons. But, like, the classes look kind of cool.
Bullseye.
Not knowing how any of it works, by the way.
Here's a present for you. No going back now.
What do you know? There's a high noon effect. Yeah, it really looks really fluid. That's the one thing, again, not having any exposure to Black Desert that I'm picking up is that, like, man, it looks really fluid just to play this game. And I don't know if, like, these are all, like, the developers setting up these scenarios or if this is what, like, the world actually is, like, just a bunch of random enemies standing around. That's kind of lame, but, like, it's for showcasing the Deadeye, right?
You an offer you can't refuse. Die.
That is how it is. Ooh, rough. Super lame. Huh.
I'll make my own luck.
I make my own luck. Yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say. One, whoever put that trailer together, like, the combat was cool, but the VO and the music, terrible. Like, just terrible. I mean, I don't expect the VO to be good in a game like this, but the music for the trailer was an absolute joke. And I don't want to spend any more time talking about that, but, like, understand, like, the content that you're making trailers for, and then, like, make the music somewhat match that, because that was weird. But anyways, the combat looks really smooth. I definitely struggle with this when it comes to MMOs, and I'm looking at the next wave of MMOs, right? Whether it's the Ghost game that we've talked about on the streams before, or, you know, the Riot MMO, which we're excited about. I come from an era where tab targeting was the thing. And I'm definitely open to another form of targeting, right? Like, I don't mind real-time combat in an MMO at all. I just come from a different era when it comes to MMOs, and I just haven't really found my footing in an MMO that used, like, real-time combat, right? I think New World was really, like, where I started to embrace it a little bit more. I enjoyed it a little bit more. This looks faster paced than New World for obvious reasons. And this obviously looks really smooth, right? You can just tell without having, you know, putting your hands on the game, it looks like it plays fast and it plays smooth. So if I were to play an MMO that had real-time combat, like, this is absolutely the type of combat I would want. There's so many other things about it that I don't want, like, you know, packs of 10 plus enemies every 5 feet just sounds awful. Like, that is not good MMO immersion, in my opinion. But again, this game has been out here for quite a while. And I think this is probably I don't know how many classes are in this game at this point, but I know there are a lot. I definitely know there's over 10, maybe over 15, maybe 20. I'm not sure. And this is another part of the MMO discussion that I am personally fascinated with. I don't remember if you guys ever played the game Rift back in the day. When I was like, oh man, I'm diving deep into my bag here. I played WoW for a really long time, like a really, really long time. And through that WoW experience, like, I started to dabble in other MMOs. And one of the MMOs that stuck with me for a really long time was Rift. I really enjoyed Rift because what Rift did was it gave your character so many different options for classes. And I can't remember specifically how it did it, but basically as you were building your character, you had different paths that you could go, and they would really truly transform your class. And I just love the idea of more classes in a game. Rift was one of the games that really stepped outside of, like, the warrior, rogue, mage hierarchy and did different things. Like, you know, Beastmaster is one that I remember. And, like, yeah, you could argue that that's a hunter, but, like, there are nuances to those things that other games hadn't really explored up until that point. You know, Rift, Guild Wars 2 did a little bit of that with the Mesmer and stuff like that. Yeah. Will there be for you? Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There was so much creativity to do whatever you wanted to do and everything be viable, which even now today with, like, WoW, like, I dabbled in the latest WoW expansion, and I kind of fall back on, like, oh man, I've got the same classes that I've had forever. I'm not feeling like the nuance of the character that I want to build is out there because you have to play a meta. Yeah, so I love MMOs, guys. I really do. And quite honestly, I cannot wait to do something on this channel that is MMO driven with a group, right? Like, we've talked about this on the stream before. When we dabbled in any sort of game that was, you know, large group, whether it was Lost Ark, Last Oasis, etc., I loved it. And I cannot wait to get back to that with a game that I am truly passionate about and that Livid is truly passionate about. You know, because when we're at our best is like when Livid and I are on the same page, we're playing a game that we both love, we're making content that we're excited about. Like, that's when we're at our absolute best. And I think for us, eventually that will be an MMO. I just don't know which one it's going to be. So yeah, more to come. That was cool. I think that conversation spun into a different thing about MMOs, which is great. That's what this should be, right? So Thanks for sharing the Black Desert trailer here. Difficult Spare was clearly on a roll because he's got a few more here. This is another game I know absolutely nothing about called Project Overkill. I hope that's not the official name of the game because that's a really terrible name for a game. But maybe it is, and that's cool too. So we've got a 1:37 trailer here. This is the official reveal teaser trailer. So not expecting to see a whole lot from this. But you know what? We can watch it down, and we can form some opinions. So let's do it. Here we go. Don't know these developers. Oh, I like the world. The world design's cool. I was not expecting a fantasy game. It looked like a mech game. What? This is fascinating. Huh. I just completely thrown off by this presentation. Shit. I am genuinely interested in this game. And that is big coming from me. For all of you guys who know me, I'm not usually big into like Eastern art styles and Eastern inspired games. I don't like the crazy over the topness of them, but holy moly, this looks really good. I gotta tell you guys, it's the perspective for me. Like, you guys know I'm a big indie roguelike guy. So I'm used to like the side scrolling or even like the isometric view. This feels more like that type of game, like an indie roguelike action game, than, you know, what we're typically seeing from, you know, a game like a Blue Protocol, right? Third person, over the shoulder, massive open world. Like, this looks really cool. And it actually is an interesting way to showcase that over the topness in a way that I enjoy, right? Like the giant hammer, all these flashy effects on the screen. I like this from this top down over the shoulder perspective. Yeah, Liv, man, let's keep this on the radar because like this is really cool. And there's some interesting elements here that maybe they're not new, right? Like I don't know this genre at all. And I definitely, you know, there's some flashiness to it. The numbers dominating the screen that I don't necessarily love, but like the art style, the viewpoint, and the gameplay looks really sharp, right? And everything's kind of like arena driven, right? You kind of seem to like go into these like arenas with enemies and fight them. I can't really tell exactly how the flow of the combat goes, right? Like when you think of a roguelite indie action game, you know, you're going through a procedurally generated world, whatever. It's hard to tell that from this trailer here. Obviously, there's going to be some cool narrative moments. Like that's just the way these developers operate. But then, like, look at these kind of rooms, if you will. They all feel very arena-esque. You can see like clearly defined things. Yeah, almost dungeon style maybe, George. I can feel you there. Almost like you're going from left to right or right to left, and you're just kind of working your way through the zone. Yeah, very cool. Oh, Livid just linked me something here for this game. Hold on. We're going to pull it up because this might be more. Oh, we got more. We got more. We're going to watch this. Heck yeah, we're going to watch this. All right, this is all in Korean. Can I get better than 720? Here we go. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but... Oh, it is open world. Or, it is 3D. Kind of. Huh. And you've got, like, MMO-style abilities on the bottom there. Like QWE, or I guess it's more like MOBA abilities. It's a little bit more rigid looking at the gameplay, right? Like the characters kind of move like an arcade character. Like I could see us, you know, being in an arcade in the mid-2000s playing this game, right? It's got that kind of vibe. There's a little bit of stiffness to the way the characters move and attack, but like it's certainly flashy and definitely a different presentation than we're used to seeing for these types of games, which I think is cool. I mean, you definitely have a lot of the tropes of an Eastern-inspired game, right? Like the health bars that you gotta break down 50 frickin' times before the enemy just dies. I've never understood that. Like, just give me one health bar and let me kill the enemy one time. But I get it. It's part of the genre at this point, the way the way that Eastern developers develop. But there's some really cool stuff here. I really like it. All right, we're going to have to keep our eye on this one, guys. We're not going to watch the whole thing. But, yeah, Project Overkill, looks like this was revealed at G-Star about 2 months ago. So, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I love that about this, guys. And that's exactly what I hope you all bring to the streams every week. It's just like these new things that I have never seen before in my life. Because, quite honestly, that's how we discover new things on the channel and eventually, you know, cover new things. So George, thanks for posting that one, man. Really appreciate it. And just checking in with you guys in the chat here. Savalon, hello. Welcome to the stream. I do not know how to pronounce your name. Osar, I think is kind of how I'm reading that through all the crazy things. Karina, we'll be there for you. Charles, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate it. And we're going to keep going because I was late tonight, and that means I need to catch up. Livid, we've got another Star Citizen trailer that I have to react to, and you didn't post it. So, you know, if you posted it, I could ignore it, but because somebody else posted it, I'm obliged to post it. Or I'm obliged to react to it, I should say. I didn't post it. Somebody else posted it. But, yeah, I'm going to have to do it. But I got to get myself in a frame of mind. Hold on. I got to get myself in a frame of mind. And by that, I mean I need to scratch my head because my head is itchy. That's all I meant. Okay. Star Citizen, the official What is Star Citizen trailer. I need this one. I do. And, oh, look, they're going to explain to me Star Citizen in 1:30. And I appreciate that because, you know, I've needed that for a while. 2 weeks ago, 157,000 views. Not bad. That's modest, right? That's not a bad number of views. But, like, you know, this game, it's been around for a while. It's been around for a minute. You'd think it might have some more love, but okay. I need to know what is Star Citizen. I'm about to learn. I'm about to learn me some knowledge. So let's do it. It's in space. I got it. There are ships.
down. Contact front.
Nice work.
Here's what I'll say. They make a really good trailer. They do. There's no way I'm going to knock it because, like, it's very exciting, right? It gives me the same type of feeling that, when Starfield was first revealed. It looks very impressive. And I know all of it, most of it, if not all of it, is generated in the game. And I get that. And I love the visuals of it. It's very cool. It's very ambitious. There's just baggage that comes with it. And there's baggage that's preconceived and there's baggage that's real. But in terms of like what the game looks like, it looks incredible. Of course it looks incredible. I really, it's interesting that they would release a video like this. And I think this is my biggest takeaway from this trailer. It's interesting that they would release a video like this, a 1.5-minute pure hype video, breaking down Star Citizen at the highest level. This is a 30,000-foot perspective of what Star Citizen is. There's not enough here to tell you anything more than, here are the things you can do, get excited about it, right? That's what this trailer is intended to do. What is that for? So what is that for? Maybe they're about to do something really big, right? If I was a marketing person, which I am, that's what I would use a trailer like this for, to start generating or to continue generating that hype for some pivotal moment, whatever that pivotal moment may actually be. Star Citizen has always looked incredibly impressive. It's just a matter of, are the things that we're seeing on the screen within reach for an average player, right? Livid and I talk about this all the time. Livid is definitely the more hardcore of the two of us, and hardcore in the sense that, like, he can sink 1,000 hours into a game and for the most part has a deeper understanding of the game and the way it plays, right? Especially a game like this where it's very systems driven, where I like to approach games more of like, okay, how can the normal person who doesn't have 60 hours a week to play video games approach a video game? I have always been like that, and I've pushed anybody who's worked with us on the channel to think like that, because the elitists, the top 1% are the top 1%. They are not the majority of players that play these games. And that's always been my fear for a Star Citizen, is that, like, it's just out of reach for the average Joe. And hopefully they're taking steps to make that not the thing, right? And I think a trailer like this is presented in a way that a Call of Duty or a Starfield or any other AAA game would be presented. And I think that's a really important step for them, because like Pink Lily Blossom is saying in the chat, I am amongst the crew that does not believe Star Citizen is a real game. And I say that, of course, stoking the fires of Livid, but it's a game that I just don't think will ever get released. And when it does get released, I hope it's amazing, and I hope it's everything that every player has ever wanted from this game. But it's got so much baggage to it that it's got a mountain to climb and overcome in terms of winning over fans. Just look at the chat. This small team of us in here right now. There are 4 of us, me, Pink, Ricky, and Lexicon, who believe that this game is not necessarily ever going to release. It's not that they can't win us over, but they have to work that much harder to win us over, right? And Lexicon's saying the same thing about Ashes of Creation. Fun fact, I am also in that camp for Ashes of Creation. These games that are so big, scope creep is a real thing. Developers have talked about it time and time again. They back themselves into a corner because they truly just want to make the biggest, baddest game that they possibly can. And they don't realize that, a game that's been in development for 10 years, continuing to develop that game without actually releasing something, there are downsides to that. And I think Star Citizen is going to feel some of those downsides. I do. I genuinely do. But again, I hope for Livid's sake and for anybody that really likes these types of games, that wants to see a massive space MMO, come to fruition, I hope it's everything and more. And I hope the developers can get it all working and all the pieces humming along, because, yeah, it's a big deal. It's absolutely a big deal. And Livid's right. You know, the single player campaign that they've been working on, Squadron 42, I believe it's called, that is going to be a defining moment for them, an absolutely defining moment for them. And hopefully, again, it launches. One, it launches, but two, launches with no bugs, and is actually a game that is as amazing as it looks, and as the Star Citizen community wants it to be. We'll see. We will absolutely see. Oh, yeah, yeah. You know, you're right. Just make a movie, right? They hired all those major actors. I'm trying to think. Like Gary Oldman's in it. Who else is in it? Stanley Tucci's in it, I think. Right? Like, there's so many A-list actors in the game. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Luke Skywalker's in it. Maybe Liv. Depends on how long it is. Is it like 20 minutes long? If it's 20 minutes long, I'm not watching it. I'll watch it in my own time, I should say. All right. Oh, you gave me time codes? Okay. So we got a couple new things here. I'm going to skip over the Dead Space 4 proposal. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I am not a Dead Space guy. I'm not somebody who plays scary games. So, like, George, appreciate you posting that, but it's kind of lost on me because I just don't really follow that series. I do want to check out this one, though. Livid posted this, Mainframes, a really interesting looking puzzle platformer. Fun fact about me, I love platformers and I love puzzle games. One of actually, I think I did a review on the channel for this game, was called Call of the Sea. And it was almost like a Myst or a Riven style game. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. But anyways, this is called Mainframes. So I know nothing about this game. This is a minute-long trailer. Let's see what it's about. Huh. Oh, interesting. Oh, I see how it works. You're literally dragging the box. Huh. My brain is having a hard time comprehending this. Oh, so do you have to use your left hand for movement and your right hand on the mouse? Is that what I think this... That's fascinating. That's like my word tonight, is fascinating. I think that's how you have to play this one, and I don't know if a game has ever done that before. But what I'm seeing is that your left hand is controlling your floppy disk, right? The main character. And the right hand, I think... Is this the same game? No, I'm like, what is happening? This is a totally different game. That was strange. That's what happens when I don't do all the things Josh told me to do. Oh, we don't want audio. Hold on. We're doing this. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Looping it. Doing the right things. Yeah, it's fascinating. So, yeah, see how you're clicking with the mouse? You're moving the box around. You're extending it right and left. And then you're moving your character, your floppy disk, with WASD in space. And you're using kind of all these different computer UI elements to interact with the world. I really like this. This is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm a little lost too, Pink. Like, it definitely is like overstimulating in terms of like some of the visuals. But like once you break it down into like its basic elements, right? Like platforming box, bump is just like a launch pad, and then you've got kind of like the left and right, like this part right here where you're toggling back and forth. So my guess is that with each mission, you're kind of developing a new skill, right? That's how good platformers do it. They kind of walk you through a new skill every level. So it wouldn't start off this crazy, right? It would start off by learning about the bump or learning about how to move the box. And then it would escalate a little bit more, and by the end, you're doing, levels that are all of those elements combined, which, it's definitely a quirky little one. There's a second trailer here that I want to check out too. This is the demo trailer, so let's see if there's anything different in this one. So more of the boxes, a lot more bumps here. I like when they can kind of poke fun at themselves. Nice. Yeah, it's cool. I like what they're doing here. There's obviously some elements of humor that not only are they kind of dabbling into with this short little trailer, but I think that would probably carry through to the actual game itself. We didn't see a whole lot of different systems here, other than I think that one scene right here was pretty interesting where right at the end, hold on, I'm going to pause it right here. You see how you're switching between different scenes here, and those different scenes are giving you different bump options. Like, there is definitely a coordination element to this that I think is actually pretty fascinating. And there's that word again, because that's honestly what a game like this, that's the word that comes to mind. So yeah, Mainframes, demo available at Steam Next Fest, which is over at this point. Is this game, let's see if this game's even out, or this demo is even out. Mainframes. There it is. Can you play the demo? Hey, you can play the demo. So yeah, if this is a game that you're interested in, you can go play the demo, which is available right now. There you go. Thanks, Liv. That was a cool one. All right. What else do we have on our list tonight? Ooh. I am very excited about this next one. We are working on our February monthly games video, right? We do that every month, mostly every month. And one of the games that's on the list for next month is called Dune Crawl. I don't know how many of you guys have seen or heard about this game. I am very excited about it. I know Livid is very excited about it. It's got a lot of potential. So I am super, super pumped that he posted this because I want to talk about it. So let's do the reveal trailer and then the gameplay trailer. Again, short, right? They're not these things are not super long. But let's take a look together. I hope this is new for some of you guys, because this one, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh. Now I don't know if this is the trailer I've seen before, but I am very familiar with this game, so it won't be genuine shock, but there'll be a little bit of shock. Love the art style. Isometric view, really stylized art. So the whole concept here is that these giant walkers, you and your team are finding, upgrading, piloting them, and then you're living in this persistent world with other players and either protecting or, hunting down other people. Like, there's some really cool stuff. And then you can have these massive battles out in the dunes, throw your people across, then boom, it's a fight on the actual deck of the other crustacean. It's just different, right? It's just different, and that's I think forget who it was. Somebody was talking about this recently online about innovation. And I know we actually touched on this in the stream last week or the week before. Games are just not innovating enough anymore. And when we just play the same thing over and over and over again, we lose the love of games overall. We lose the reason why we played games in the first place. Will a game like this do gangbusters and sell 1 billion copies? No, because it's just not in the DNA of these types of games. But like, is it going to be a fun experience? I hope so, because it's so different than what's out there right now, right? Like, there is no other game that does this quite like this. And I think that's interesting. I really do. And there's another trailer here that I want to check out. This is the gameplay trailer. So just let's to see if there's any other scenes or snippets
this
here.
Is Jesse from Alien Trap Games, and today I'll be showing off some gameplay from Dune Crawl, our upcoming online co-op action game planned for release next year. In Dune Crawl, you and up to 3 friends take to the sand seas on the back of a giant crab crawler festooned with black powder cannons. You'll navigate your crawler across an expansive
wow, look at that
wasteland,
map.
do battle with
That's
jar-headed
cool.
invaders, explore bug-infested islands, and delve into trap-filled dungeons. Our gameplay takes inspiration from titles such as Sea of Thieves for its open-world naval exploration, the isometric action-adventures of the Zelda series,
Nice.
and the frantic teamwork found in Overcooked and Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. As your crew travels the dunes, you'll embark on various island quests. Sometimes you'll be defending a cliffside town from attacking raiders, riding acid-spitting scorpions to intercept an armored convoy, looting a dark crypt to find hidden treasures, or racing on scuttling beetles for gold and glory. Use your plunder to buy new weapons and items from merchants, equip masks and outfits for gameplay-altering effects, and gear up your crawler with protective armor and
Oh, I like that
devastating
you just
cannonball
like
things.
throw it on them.
However, your giant crab isn't the only crawler in the desert. You'll have to work as a team to do battle with enemy vessels. Load and fire cannons, repair damage, take evasive maneuvers, and board their deck to win the day. Dune Crawl is also designed as a fully single-player experience. While you embark on island excursions
that's
as a
cool.
lone adventurer, a ghostly companion will always be there to help you crew your crawler. Keep an eye out for a Steam demo in February 2025, with a release planned later in the same year.
That's super cool. I didn't realize, and I know it's funny I say this because I didn't actually watch this trailer when I was doing the February video. So I am really actually pumped that they are making this single player friendly because, like, you know, of course we all have one friend or maybe even 2 friends that can play a game like this. Man, that map, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked, but let's go back to that map for a second. Starts out smallish. They zoom out and I'm like, holy moly, that's a big map. And of course, right, all of those islands are different major points of interest. I think all of that, like, that sandy color is the desert. I don't know if it's just unexplored or if that's the open desert, but that's a really big map. But again, it has to be for a persistent game where you'd run into people like every 5 seconds, right? Which I don't think you want because you want to be able to adventure and explore and do things. It's a really cool looking game. And I think he, you know, obviously as the developer kind of said it perfectly. The inspiration is a game like Sea of Thieves mixed with some like Legend of Zelda and the team building elements of an Overcooked. Fascinating concept. I don't think any other game has ever done this before. And you look at it and you're going to know right away. You're either into a game like this or you're not because it's not meant for everybody. It's meant for a certain type of player that, you know, plays a certain type of game. But what I do enjoy is that there's actually so many different elements in this game that could be translated to other games, right? Like, again, going back to the 3 games that he mentioned, Overcooked, Legend of Zelda, and Sea of Thieves. Those audiences don't necessarily cross-pollinate, right? Like, I don't know a Sea of Thieves player that's also like a Legend of Zelda diehard. I'm sure they're out there, but like they're very different games. And Overcooked is like completely different. But then you have this huge PvP element, right? And that's what I think Livid and I get excited about is like, okay, well, yeah, we want to take our giant crab out into the desert and start smacking people. Like, we will absolutely dominate the desert. It's not even a thought in a doubt in my mind that we won't. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Keep an eye out for the February monthly gaming video. Dune Crawl will be in there talking about how there is a demo coming out next month. Yes, this is coming out in 2025, but they do plan on dropping a demo next month, which we're probably going to check out. So that'll be really fun. I know this is a little unconventional, and it's not on our subreddit, but I love when a trailer like this pops up, and I'm like, ooh, what is that? Don't Wake the Beast. I kind of want to see what this is. I hope you guys don't mind me taking a look at another trailer, because quite honestly, I've been looking for indie games in 2025 that I'm interested in, and all of the lists that I've seen, I've been like, all right, these are a lot of cozy indie games. I'm like, I have no problem with cozy indie games, but like, I want to play an indie game like this or like Dune Crawl, right? That's a little bit more action adventure driven. I don't need to build my 900th farm. I don't need to raise my 1,000th sheep. I need something that's different and new and fresh, and that innovative conversation extends to all types of games, cozy games included. I don't need to build the same thing that I've done a million times before in Stardew Valley, for example. I want to see something that's fresh, that's new, that's changing a genre or pushing a genre in a different direction. So this trailer thumbnail caught my eye. So we're going to check this one out. Don't Wake the Beast.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this cliche situation. It was meant to be a foolproof, get-rich-quick scheme. These don't always work, right?
Nope. Rip.
All right, it took some practice, but each time I came back stronger. More
So
prepared.
roguelite.
Okay, so
Rip.
maybe not get rich quick, but get rich eventually. Some really nice folks on the surface. And underground.
Dragon.
There it is. Do not make a sound. Shit! So yeah,
Huh.
lesson learned. Stay shush. Greed doesn't always pay off. And finally, don't wake the beast.
I really liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was actually really funny. And what's interesting is the concept, right? To Livid's point in the chat here. Like, what we're looking at is a Spelunky-esque game. It's a treasure hunting-esque game. But then I think when you get to the end of the dungeon, right? That's the whole title here, Don't Wake the Beast. If you get past all these traps and you get past all the enemies, you get to the end point, then you get that last bit of treasure and the entire dungeon flips and now you have to escape, right? I think that's actually a really interesting concept and one that's not, I don't think, explored in a game like this, because there's a million dungeon crawling games, right? But now you're talking more of a puzzler and more of a mobility game. You're not fighting in this game as far as we can tell. It's a lot more of how smart can you be, how quickly can you move, how carefully can you move, and then when you get to the end, okay, now you've got to do it with the crunch of you woke the dragon up, you better be able to escape. So you have to work backwards to get out of the dungeon with all of the challenges of the dungeon itself, and now the dragon coming for you. It's a really cool concept. I actually want to check out this whole mix showcase, because if this is like an indie showcase, like I bet there are a number of other cool games out there. And for a game like this, what I'd be most interested in is seeing what the progression elements are. Are the progression elements like, I can't remember where it was in the trailer here, right here. So like you're selling stuff. What are you getting from it? So you're getting a backpack, a crossbow, rope, armor. I'm not entirely sure what the progression elements are, because it doesn't seem like it's a combat-driven game. But cloak slows down the growth of the detection meter when you're in the enemy's view range. Okay, makes sense. So that's what I would say. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, Lexicon. Like Moonlighter vibes. Moonlighter vibes, but more on the almost like I would say platformer for lack of a better word, but less combat, more sneaking around. How stealthy and smart can you be while you're in the dungeon? Really cool. Yeah, cool little one. I just wanted to check that out because I thought it was interesting. And just as expected with any little indie game like this, very low views, which I definitely want to check out this fall mix showcase and see what else is out there. Because, yeah, streamed a month ago, was 2 hours long. It didn't even crack 10K views. Terrifier, Might Reigna. Ooh, Standalone. This looks interesting. That was a year ago. That wasn't a month ago. See, this is like, I'm kind of done with games like this. I can even just tell from the trailer. It's a cozy cooking game. I don't care. I'm done. The Time I Have Left. In 6 hours, you'll be dead. That looks fascinating. Dune Crawl, there it was. Farm Folk. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out. I'm definitely going to have to check this out. Ooh, what's this? Frontier Paladin? Interesting. Oh, here's that there's the standalone. Here's that game again. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I'm really sorry. All right, so next on the list. Oh, boy. Hold on. I need a second. Because next on the list is Hytale. And I will be completely honest with you guys. If you know anything about the channel, you know that Livid and I actually met covering Hytale together. Him on the Livid Lion, me with the Game Gurus. So Hytale is a game we've been covering since 2018. We have not that we've slowed down our coverage of the game, but like the game has nothing to really cover. They release usually 2 developer updates every year, one in the summer, one in the winter. This is the winter 2024 update, and I genuinely have not looked at it because the game is not really that much closer to launch. For those that don't know about Hytale, Hytale is being created by the Hypixel team. This is a team that made Minecraft servers back in the day. I think they still do make Minecraft servers, largely focused and rooted in like PvP minigames. They're making their own game called Hytale, which is something that Livid and I are both incredibly excited about. You know, it's everything that we want a Minecraft to be, not just an open sandbox, but a sandbox with intention. And games have tried to do this in the past, but there's something about Hytale that was always really special. And for me, it's the adventure mode. There's going to be a fully fledged adventure mode in here. Think of A Legend of Zelda, and you'll kind of have an idea of what that's going to be, but still maintaining its sandbox elements, right? It's a very ambitious game. And then one of the other pillars is, of course, the creativity. All the things you've come to expect in a Minecraft, a sandbox game, you're going to be able to do with this game times 10. And then you've got the PvP side of it. They're making, you know, fully fleshed out mini games, PvP mini games, some of their biggest and best ones from their Hypixel servers, and they're piping them over to Hytale for when the game does release. So we're just incredibly excited about this game, but it's been a journey, right? The initial trailer, which has millions and millions of views, was released in 2018, and we're now, you know, 6 years later, and we're not that much closer to a release. So I'm just going to very quickly peruse this and see what we're kind of talking about here. So they've been testing back in the summer. They were talking about some of their internal milestones. Filling in the blanks was their way of saying like, hey, yeah, we've got some work to do on the back end, going backwards to kind of fill in the blanks. And so seems like that's been going well. Players jumped into a new custom world and built together, explored the capital, queued for simple minigames, and experienced a basic version of the adventure loop. Resource gathering, crafting, and exploration, and a procedurally generated open world. All good things. You would think we'd be a little bit further along at this point after 6 years, but they have built, torn down, and rebuilt a lot of elements of this game. And he says that right here. We're not just playing catch up either. We're starting to see the benefits of our new engine over the old, particularly when it comes to networking and social features. In late November, we celebrated getting 100 players online at the Capitol at the same time. And it's a bar they had not hit in the Legacy. That's great, because what Hytale is hoping to be is, a sandbox MMO, right? That's what they want it to be. These are some of the undead characters. These have definitely been reworked. You see a lot of detail, right? Like, this is so much more than a Minecraft enemy. And they've done a good job of showcasing this stuff, right? The undead soldier. This is an undead miner. This is some of the world gen stuff you can see. It feels like Minecraft. It looks like Minecraft, but it definitely feels and has always felt to us like an elevated version of that. Then they're working on some lighting effects here. This is some of the old stuff in the old engine. This is new engine lighting. Definitely more impressive, right? Even the block stuff is a lot smoother. You see the way that the light is kind of changing the way these blocks looks is a bit chunky. Here it's a little bit more organic and natural, which is really cool. And then this is an example of what the new engine allows our artists and builders to achieve. Let's check this out. Yeah, I mean, it looks really great. And to Livid's point, like, it's been a while since, we were able to achieve kind of that cozy vibe in a game. Like Minecraft, obviously, people have pushed Minecraft to its absolute limit, right? I think that community, just like the MMO community to an extent, is waiting for that next thing to happen. And Hytale very well could be that next thing. Yeah, I just cannot genuinely wait for this game. It has been far too long. They've got a lot of really cool world tech stuff too. If you're a builder, you're not putting down pieces of things, and this is all in game, guys. You are actually able to put full prefabs down. This is such a huge element of this game. Like, if you just want to design a world and truly embrace like being a builder, you can do that, from houses and villages to single elements like trees. But like, obviously, in a game like Minecraft, you're doing that brick by brick. You're not doing that brick by brick in Hytale. That's part of the charm of this game, and you can see that there are prefabs that you as a player can do. This is all in game. There is so much here that has potential. I am also not a builder. This sort of stuff to me is abstract. Like, I wish I could do this, but I can't. My brain doesn't think this way. Which is why I'm excited for the adventure mode, right? I can't wait to dive into a game that takes the Legend of Zelda approach, but it's not Legend of Zelda. It's a completely new thing. So, yeah, there's some really cool stuff here. Let me just see what this last little bit of... let's see. 2025. Let's see what the year 2025 has in store for the Hytale community. It's been an incredible year, but I always say that. What makes this year special is the confidence Blancs has given us going into 2025. It feels great to be at a point where we can start using our new engine for what it's meant for, making Hytale. Okay, that does sound like we are still far away. I have spoken before about how we've been using our time waiting on the new engine for much needed tools development, creative exploration, gameplay, and UX designs and prototypes. Whatever we can do to get ready for what comes next, but in my opinion, the most critical things we've been working on have been our team and our process. I am proud to say that not only is our engine more capable than before, so is our team. And we're going to need that capability in 2025. The job ahead is to bring the gameplay and content over from our legacy engine a process which is often referred to as porting, and get it into playtesting as soon as possible. The first half of the year will see competitive and creative play take center stage to prepare for playtests in the second half of the year. At this time, we'll stay focused on adventure and social gameplay. We'll continue to move fundamental systems and features like tools, world gen, NPC behaviors, rendering, and personalization forward so that they do not fall behind. So, yeah, bottom line, guys, Hytale's still a ways away. So if this is a game that you've been following or interested in, I know a lot of our friends in the community have been really on the pulse of this game. We're still not there. That's just the reality. We are still not there. It's sad, but it's not a bad thing, right? Because they're clearly doing a ton of work behind the scenes to make this game as special as they think it can be. And don't forget, this game is entirely funded by Riot, right? It is its own company, but the game is funded by Riot. So there is definitely a belief that this team can do something massive here. We'll just see if it happens. Absolutely, we'll see it if it happens. All right. What else do we got? What else do we got? It's 10:30, so we got about, I don't know, 20 more minutes before I pop off. Oh my gosh, Livid, this is an hour long. You're killing me, brother. You're killing me. We're not doing that one tonight. I do want to check out this one, though. This one was popping up all over my feed the other day. The Road to Skyblivion. I have no idea what this is. I haven't played Oblivion in so long. Oh, it's 12 minutes. This is perfect. I would love to see like what the modding community in this space is doing. Clearly, this has got a lot of attention. 513,000 views in just a few days. A little over 2 weeks, or about 2 weeks. So let's check this one out, guys. If you're a fan of Elder Scrolls, stick around. I think this could be really interesting.
Hey, you. You're finally awake. Welcome back to the Road to Skyblivion. With 2025 on the horizon, we are nearing our final year of development.
Ooh.
Join us as we break down our progress since last year's roadmap and outline the path to our 2025 release. In this video, we will show you exactly what has been completed and what remains to ensure a 2025 release. We will also break down the volunteer skills we need to help us achieve that goal. We are always looking for new volunteers. We shall begin with our largest undertaking, the landscape.
Cool voice.
Landscaping and level design serve as the foundation for the rest of the game. It's where you'll discover new vistas and make new memories in our updated world space. We're finalizing the world map with only the Nibene region on Cyrodiil's eastern border left to complete. Massive swaths of the map are ready for the hero of Kvatch to explore. Despite Oblivion's map being nearly a third larger than Skyrim's, we've worked to make sure the entire map is bespoke with handmade details throughout. Cyrodiil is divided into 9 unique regions with their own biomes, flora and fauna, and natural features. Here are each of the regions and their current progress. Starting us off is the Gold Coast, which has had all 526 cells landscaped, and 34% of the region nav-meshed. The highlight of this region is the finalized city of Anvil, which has been re-envisioned to realize its original concept art. The Colovian Highlands also have all 422 cells landscaped, with 81% of the region nav-meshed. Next, we have the Fall Forest and Heartlands regions, which have been entirely landscaped with all 405 cells landscaped, and 26% of the area nav-meshed. Out of all the regions, this is likely the most iconic, and I'm sure you'll immediately recognize the improvements over the Oblivion original. As we continue to revamp the Imperial City, parts of the Imperial Isle will also require an overhaul to match the new and improved cityscape. The majestic Great Forest with its towering redwood trees is fully complete, with all 460 cells finished, and 58% of the Great Forest nav-meshed, including the city of Coral, which lies in the center of the region. The Gerald and Valus Mountains have recently had all 517 cells completed, with 20% of the
Whoever
mountains
animated these
nav-meshed.
green bars is giving
We've
me a
also
little bit
completed
of
all work on the city of
agita,
Bruma,
but that's okay.
as well as the
The fact that
iconic
it's
Cloud
like
Ruler
goes
Temple,
beyond the bar.
which has been expanded and further fortified. The West Weald is finished with all of its 284 cells completely landscaped, and about 88% of the area nav-meshed. This includes Skingrad and the sprawling farms and vineyards surrounding it. The swampy bogs of Blackwood have been entirely landscaped with all 803 cells implemented, with its nav-mesh progress sitting at around 60%. Since last year, we've nearly doubled our progress in the Nibene Valley, with 268 out of 300 cells now complete, and nav-meshing progress at 75%. The only thing left to do here is finish the city of Bravil, which is shaping up nicely. Currently, Nibene Basin is around 50% of the way there, with 289 of the 674 cells completed. NavMesh is yet to begin. Outside these specific regions, we have completed 321 cells for the purpose of expanding the map and altering terrain to better accommodate expanded cities and natural formations, and generally improve the experience for players while exploring the map. In total, there are 4,926 cells in Cyrodiil, with 4,603, or 93%, complete. Of these cells, 2,198, or 44% of the world space, is nav-meshed, meaning that NPCs and quests will not function as intended outside of those regions. The nav-mesh team is always looking for new recruits to help move things along.
Nice. Very cool
We've
setup.
been hard at work since last year's update, making progress on our interiors. From castles and dungeons to shops and player homes, we're getting closer to total completion. Under our current schedule, we're prioritizing quest locations which require more time and concepting compared to generic interiors, which can be completed substantially faster. Additionally, as we work to complete the Imperial City, which contains more interiors than any other city, additional interiors will continue to be completed. We also have 11 of 20 of the unique world spaces completed. These large regions each contain unique areas of landscape and offer more diverse experiences than the general workspace. 3 out of 11 Oblivion realms are completed. However, if time permits, we will add more to diversify the list of random realms the player may enter when closing an Oblivion gate. In total, 19% of our interiors are nav-meshed, with 12% of our unique world spaces nav-meshed. 3D. 3D objects fill Skyblivion, from the fallen trees underfoot to the armor protecting your adventurer and the trolls obstructing your path. Every object, item, and creature helps to bring Cyrodiil to life. While most object groups are complete or nearly complete, some bottlenecking affects the output of other departments. For example, if we have not yet remade the architecture set for an interior cell, the level design team cannot progress on rebuilding that area in the game. Most importantly, without remaking all
it's a lot. It's a lot of numbers, but like, I think this is
3D
what you would want to
objects,
see if you're interested
we cannot
in
meet
a
the
game
legal
like this.
requirements to release Skyblivion. So plants, which at 74 out of 118 items remade represent the least complete of our 3D groups, still need additional help. If you are a 3D artist interested in botany and plants, we ask that you please apply to volunteer. We need your help. As a reminder, we are legally required to remake or replace all assets from Oblivion. There are some items we have been able to borrow from Skyrim, but many are not suitable for implementation in Skyblivion. This leaves us with a long list of items left to create. Our 3D team is still hard at work, but we are always looking for new talent. Quests.
That's fascinating. Legally
with a beautiful
required?
remastered world space to explore and updated weapons and armor with which to defend yourself against the monsters, it's time to earn your title as the hero of Kvatch. Last year we had over 100 quests yet to be started. Today, there are only 6 left untouched, meaning most of Oblivion's near 200 quests have either been commenced or completed. Quests go through multiple stages of testing. Those that are untouched and whose code has simply been automatically converted over from Oblivion are untested. From there, they enter the work in progress stage, where we edit and implement the quest. Once functional in our testing, they enter their first pass. After another round of testing, they are finally in the second pass stage and implemented into Skyblivion. Skyblivion's nearly 200 quests are broken up into the following quest lines. The Fighters Guild quest line is the most complete of all of our quest lines, with 20 of 21 in the second pass stage. The Mages Guild quest lines have 20 out of 22 quests completed as a first pass. The quest line for the Thieves Guild has 15 of 16 quests completed as a first pass. The Dark Brotherhood has all 24 of its quests completed as a first pass. The main quest line has 18 of its 20 quests completed as a first pass. A large portion of our side quests have received a first pass, with 45 out of 46 of them in working order. All 15 of our Daedric quests have received a first pass. The 2 arena quests have both received their first pass, and all 21 master training quests have received a first pass.
It's a really impressive undertaking.
Finally, the world space wouldn't be complete without Oblivion's iconic music. All original tracks have been carried over, as well as 24 new tracks.
Nice.
1 new track for each of the 9 regions of Cyrodiil, 3 new dungeon exploration tracks, 3 new night exploration tracks, 2 new boss fight themes, and 3 new atmospheric tracks that can be heard while delving through the Oblivion realms. A note on Shivering Isles and the other big DLC. We are currently focused on the main game experience to ensure it is released on time. Once the main game of Skyblivion is released, we will look into how we can tackle DLCs, and we will be sure to share more information on our next steps closer to the time. We're less than a year away from our target release of Skyblivion. We hope that this updated roadmap gives you a clear understanding of our current progress and what's ahead for us this coming year. Skyblivion officially started over 11 years ago, when a group of modders met through online forums. But the Skyblivion you know today began in earnest in 2018. Since then, the team has grown into numerous departments, and we are nearly ready to release an entirely remastered Elder Scrolls game. Although we're closer than ever before, we still need some more help. We're asking the Elder Scrolls modding community to come together to help us complete this final leg of our mighty task. If you'd like to lend a hand in the final stretch of Skyblivion's development, we're seeking the following key roles. If you or someone you know is skilled in UI vector implementation and can aid in implementing the new user interface, it would free up our tech team to work on other systems. Whether you've worked on house mods, new dungeons, or any interior in between, we'd love additional support for our interiors department. Have you nav-meshed before? We need your help finishing the navigation meshing throughout Cyrodiil. Designed, implemented, and released new quests for Skyrim? You're just what we're looking for. Apply to support our quest department. Have a knack for the technical use of the Creation Kit? We're seeking Creation Kit generalists to help throughout multiple departments. If you've ever redesigned how Skyrim's NPCs work with one another and their routines, we're looking for additional specialists who are familiar with AI packages to make Skyblivion's world as living and immersive as possible. If you have any of the skills above, consider applying to support the project at skyblivion.com/volunteer. We can't wait to show off more of Skyblivion over the next year, as we finalize the Imperial City and the last remaining areas of the game. It's been a long ride, but the end is in sight.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, to George, to your point, it's not really a roadmap. It's more of a progress report check-in. But, like, this game, obviously, Oblivion, is iconic for a number of reasons. But, like, what they're trying to do is so ambitious. And I think, you know, after 11 years, he said, you know, to come to the table and say, here's where we're at, that's really important. And, like, yes, I think a lot of what they said kind of, like, flew over my head, too. But, like, it's very clear to see a bar that's almost filled up and think, okay, they're making really good progress. They're almost there. And I think that's what they're using this to do, right? And I think, what did I say, 500,000 views? This is not a project that people are ignoring. 513,000 views in less than a week. That's a big deal. And obviously this team is impressive, right? Like they are redesigning this game, which is massive. It's a massive game, not only to create it, but to remaster it, with volunteers. Like this is, I don't know what their model is for doing this, but like if this is an entirely volunteer effort, like that's incredible. They probably could have done it in 5 years if they had like a full staff, right? But they're using volunteers to do this work, recreate this pretty iconic game, and they're getting close, right? Their target is within the year to release this Sky Oblivion, this remastered version of the game. So it's really impressive. Just hats off to the team for doing it. It looks cool. It was a lot of landscape, a lot of, it was a lot of showcasing what things are going to look like, not actually showcasing the gameplay. Hopefully the gameplay comes, because I think that's what's going to, if they want to attract the attention of the average Joe, they have to start showing some gameplay. This is obviously not a trailer for those folks. It's a trailer to get people hyped about the project, who may not even know about the project, who lost track of the project, right? A game that's been in development for 11 years, people lose track of things like that, right? Greg, it's called Sky Oblivion. It's a remastered version of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and it looks like this is a modding team that has been working on this for about 11 years. I didn't know this was even out there, so it's an exposure thing for me too. George is saying they're also doing Morrowind, and the original is so dated that it means millions will get to play Morrowind because of them. That's pretty cool. I'm interested, like if they're doing it at the same time, that seems a little crazy to me. But again, they may have hundreds of people working on this for all I know. I can't fathom how to do something like this on a volunteer basis. I just can't. So it's really impressive. It's really, really impressive. So thank you, Liv, for posting that one. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to end tonight with this one. I saw Liv had posted this pretty right during the stream or right before the stream. Arrowhead, developers behind Helldivers 2. They're planning their next game. And Livid says here, I think it's safe to say a subset of the studio will go on to support Helldivers for a few more years, but it looks like Arrowhead is ready to dive into its next development project soon, according to this article. Even better, the little teaser test images for a game they were apparently already looking into making were featured here. So let's check this out. This is from the Video Gamer. And Josh, I'm really sorry. I still have not turned on ad blocker. I know. I suck. All right. As far as 2024 games go, Helldivers 2 is one of the best. Hell, it easily took the crown for Best Multiplayer in our Game of the Year awards, and the arrival of the Illuminate only cemented that fact. While Arrowhead aims to turn that game into Helldivers 3 with massive updates, the studio is also looking to the future. Revealed by Arrowhead COO Johan Pilstedt, the studio is officially starting planning for its next game, and fans are invited to help. In an announcement on Twitter, the Arrowhead COO confirmed that preliminary work on the studio's next game is starting. While nothing is concrete, the COO is working on the high concept proposal for that game. With 10 minutes to 2025, what are your expectations and desires for what the next Arrowhead game will be? Pilstedt asked fans. I'm working on the high concept, but I would love to hear your speculation. All right. A high concept pitch doesn't mean anything concrete. In fact, after announcing the process had started, Pilstedt showed off numerous pitches that were never realized, including a Star Fox-style game in the Helldivers universe dubbed Eagle of Democracy. That's kind of cool. Dang, hold on, we gotta blow this up. What? All right, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Instead, a high concept pitch is a short and concise idea that could eventually become a product. While Arrowhead is looking to the future, that doesn't mean Helldivers 2 is being left behind. For example, recent leaks have revealed plans for a wildlife system to populate planets, as well as a weapon attachment system to customize the loadouts. Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt that Arrowhead was massively successful, right? with Helldivers 2. Like, Helldivers 2 had one of the best launches of all times of a game, period. They had really terrible live service post-launch maintaining of that game. They're starting to bring people back with the Illuminate. Like, this was an update that needed to happen months ago, but they got there, right? The game released in February, I believe, and they're just getting to the Illuminate now in December. But, like, the game is special. There's no doubt about it. The Helldivers 1 concept was brilliant. To make it third person and to make it just as fun and visceral as the first game, but even more so, it's brilliant. I don't blame them for looking ahead. I think every developer that has a successful launch of a game shortly after is starting to look at what's next for them. I think we talked about this on a previous stream, that with a game like Dead Cells, right? Dead Cells was a really popular Metroidvania-style game that released in 2018, I think it was. And what Motion Twin did was they spun off a part of their team to keep working on Dead Cells, and the other parts of their team went off to work on the next project. So I think that's very likely for a team like this. I think there's going to be a small subset of them that maintain Helldivers 2. I think the leak situation got out of control. I think their communication was terrible in terms of, what people should and can expect from this game. They had something really special with the way that they delivered information via like that hyper-patriotic system. And they never really leaned into that the right way. I felt like most of the time they were putting out fires or trying to convince folks that the battle passes or whatever they were called were better than they were, right? Like, they were all pretty terrible. Like, the weapons were never that exciting. We had a lot of fun covering it, but ultimately, when you end up doing the same thing a million times and the game is not evolving at the pace that it really should have, okay, well then you start to lose interest in it, and that's just what happened with the game. That being said, it was still wildly successful, and I'm super pumped that they're going on to do Helldivers 3 or whatever the next game for them is. And it could be something familiar, it could be something completely different. I think they have enough money in the bank now, they could do whatever the heck they want. And that's exciting. That's pretty exciting. All right, guys, just checking in one last time before I say goodnight. Really appreciate, the 30, 40 of you that were with me tonight hanging out. Ratchet, I see you in the chat. Of course, George and Greg, thank you guys for hanging out. Alisima, sorry to bring up Black Desert again, but got here late, trying to get caught up. It's free right now, so there you go. So if anybody's looking for a new MMO, you can check out Black Desert, which is free to play right now. I know Livid has said it's pay to win, but you don't need to pay to have fun sometimes. You can just check out a game, so there you go. And Oscar checking in from Mexico. Thank you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Guys, I'm sorry I was late tonight. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you. Again, remember, Legacy Gaming will... God, the words are just coming out like mush at this point. I'm going to stream every Sunday, usually at 9 o'clock till about 11 o'clock at night. If you want to get involved, you can join us on the subreddit. If somebody wouldn't mind posting the subreddit link in the chat, I would appreciate it. You guys, all you need to do is post like one video, one article a week. I'm going to check it out. We're going to talk about it. And yeah, let's keep this thing growing. If you're here, I appreciate you. Keep hanging out with us every Sunday night. Bring your friends. Let's make this a thing. If you guys want to see us dive into games, like that's something that we've been talking about, right? Like we stream so that we can react to things. If you guys want to actually hang out with us while we're playing games, let me know. Drop a comment in the chat here, because we want this thing to grow in 2025. We want this to be something that we continue to do. Maybe Livid starts to do it a little bit more. Who knows? We have no idea what this is gonna hold for us. But for now, it's just a lot of fun hanging out with you every week. And we've got some new exciting videos coming up, including Marvel Rivals updates, Hyper Light Breaker, like I mentioned before, and then some new games coming out in February. So a lot more coming in the future. As always, thanks for hanging out with us. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.
we were traveling